Welcome into our Black and Gold Report. I'm Corey Rholdon, joined by ESPN Radio's Matt Musso. And Matt, once again, the Saints are right there, have a chance to win the game and beat the Bengals, but they just couldn't finish it off.
Couldn't finish it off, and boy, the red zone was a very, very high topic of conversation after that football game as well. But Corey, I'll tell you what, one thing I realized, it's a lot more fun when Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase play for your team.
Yeah, it is. And also, you said that you thought the Saints ran the ball well, but
Yes.
they had some secondary issues.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about that last week previewing the game, right? That without Marcus Lattimore out there and you've had some injuries and Marcus may return, but they played some soft zone, but game situations dictated that they end up in man, and Jamar and Joe really took advantage of that. But if you are looking for a positive, the New Orleans Saints, they found their running game.
Yeah,
The sample size is big enough now, right? It started in the second half against Minnesota. You saw it obviously with Taysom against the Seahawks, and you saw it again against a very good Bengals front. So if you can get healthy, you can get the guys back on the outside and receiver, you can have a pretty darn good offense if you're the New Orleans Saints.
My biggest concern from this game was the tackling. You see Joe Burrow just escaping the pressure right there. They didn't get enough sacks, and they allowed 3 or 7 yard plays to turn into first downs. And remember, Chase's long touchdown run, that's a 10-yard game right there if you tackle him. Instead, it goes for 60 yards. The Saints tackling was a huge issue for me. And like you said, red zone on both sides of the ball, the Saints struggled. And for Dennis Allen, that's a big reason why they lost.
We had some opportunities to get off the field on third down in the red zone. We didn't do that. And we didn't score enough touchdowns in the red zone. And that therein lies the difference in the game. I think the final stats were we were 1 of 5 and they were 3 of 3. And so all the things that go on in the game really kind of come down to that one statistical category.
Now the Saints are playing in a short week against the Cardinals, a team, they're pretty similar. Both these teams are 2-4, had high aspirations. What are your opening thoughts on these two teams?
Injury report's very important for both teams, not just the Saints, but also the Cardinals. I mean, it is lengthy there, and I'm really looking at their offensive line because it is banged up. Justin Pugh, guard, out for the season with a torn ACL. Cliff Kingsbury confirmed on Monday. You're looking at a center position where you might not have your starter there either. So the interior of that line going up against a good Saints defensive front. How can they take advantage of that? Can they keep Kyler Murray in the pocket too? Mobile quarterbacks have given the Saints problems. Think back to Marcus Mariota week 1. You can think back to Jalen Hurts and all the success he's had. Even Joe Burrow, who doesn't get the credit for being as athletic as he is. Can you keep Kyler Murray in the pocket? Can you get him on the ground? Can you affect the passer in that way?
Absolutely. And then also you talked about the injury report. Saints have been missing their top 3 receiving targets, but they might be getting one back, as yesterday Chris Olave spoke on his potential return.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to get back to it, help the quarterbacks out, just help the team out at the end of the day. I know we got to get back to winning. It's been a long process, a lot of tests, but they're just looking after me at the end of the day. I respect that. I respect how much care I got from the trainers and taking the right steps in the right direction. I feel like it was a good week, and I'm ready to get back to it.
And, the Saints, that's going to be important to move the football. You said that they ran the football really well, but they also need a little bit more spark plays, some big plays in the passing game. And one point that you made that I liked is the Saints' defensive line against their offensive line. And that's one of my keys to victory for this New Orleans Saints team. Last week against Joe Burrow and the Bengals, the Saints were getting pressure on Burrow, but he was able to escape and make big play after big play. Now they're facing a very similar quarterback in Kyler Murray. The Saints have to tackle him when they have opportunities. And the second thing is, get the ball in your weapons' hands in the red zone. Alvin Kamara has 67 total touchdowns in his career. So far this season, 0. Get AK the ball in the red zone. And lastly, create turnovers. Saints only have 1 interception on the year. This is what you brought Tyrann Mathieu and Marcus May in for, to create some spark plays and some energy. The Saints do these 3 things, I think we'll see a victory Friday in 2 days. So, Matt, we all talked about these points about the Saints and how they need to play better and with some more consistency. Who do you have winning this game?
Short week presents an interesting challenge, Corey. Obviously, you're not really on the field. It's just walk through the entire time. Yeah. Can you really get guys back from injury? And that's a big thing for both teams, obviously the injury report. But this is as close to a must-win for New Orleans as you can really get here in October. I think they do get it done 23-20. You mentioned Kamara in the red zone. Olave coming back could also be a pretty big key for them in the red zone as well.
I keep picking the Saints. You know, last week I picked the Saints and they lost. This week I'm picking the Saints again. The Cardinals and the Saints are in a very similar situation, both dealing with a lot of injuries. Both are 2-4 football teams. But I think the Saints are going to get some guys back and that can play. I think Marshawn Lattimore is going to play. I think Chris Olave is going to play. And this team is going to seem to kind of rebound when we all kind of expected them not to. That's all for the Black and Gold Report. From Matt Musso, from myself, we'll see you guys next week.